Most businesses never grow past six figures. And it's not because of bad ideas, competition, or the economy. It's because of one major mistake. Today, Miles is breaking down exactly why businesses hit a growth ceiling and what you need to do to push past it. If you want to grow beyond where you are now, this episode, it's for you. So let's get into it.
To the rhythm of my intuition, anything I want, I speak into existence. That's how I'm living.
Okay, welcome to episode 11 of Finding Rhythm. We are finding our rhythm week after week. We got new lights in the studio. You know, the last two episodes, the lights absolutely killed me when I looked at them because it was so bad. So hopefully these ones turned out better. Let's hop into it.
All right. So Miles, you've built multiple businesses. Why do you think most businesses, they never grow past six figures?
Yeah. You know, when I think of this question too, it's like, do you really have the stuff to answer it? Because I'm still in the middle of figuring it out too, you know, to get past that consistent six figures to, you know, do $1 million a year. But I do know from experience, like, and full disclosure, have done it. So I think it could be broken down into a couple things. One, if you've just focused on revenue, just top line revenue, you're going to get stuck. You need to build profits within your business to fuel growth of it, right? If you don't have profits at the end of the day, you can't reinvest and kind of build out the systems that are needed to scale it up. So I think having a profit first mind is key to breaking past six figures, because you're then going to allocate those profits to then build the systems and hire the people in order to scale up the parts of your business. So I think just in short, it'll be profits, and systems would kind of be the core reasons people don't do it.
So saying that, is growth more about strategy, mindset, or both?
Yeah, of course, I think it's both. Like, you have to have a strategy and, like, you know, make the roadmap of how to get there and how to generate that many sales. But I think truly it starts with mindset and having a mindset of, okay, I'm actually building a business, which, you know, I think truly building a business is it can run without you doing all these things. A lot of the times, and I've done this many times as well, is like you can just build yourself a job where, you know, you're trading your time for money and you're doing a lot of the inputs, but you have to have the mindset of business building. And then as well, through that lens, we're building for profits. We're taking those profits, we're reinvesting into it, and we're going to build out systems and hire the right people.
Why do so many entrepreneurs confuse revenue with actual profit?
Because revenue is sexy. You know, revenue is great for headlines and great for you to, you know, share, but revenue can be very deceiving because you can fuel revenue, you can fuel it at a loss, right? You can acquire customers, but you could lose customers every single time. And until you actually look at the P&L of the business and actually see what has actually happened, did the business actually make money or not? And I think that's the true measure, at least for myself personally. And like, I'm a simple person. I'm a simple business person. I'm not changing the world and building Uber and, you know, scooping up market share and competing against Lyft. So I'm okay to lose every single drive that happens. You know, Uber's like loses tons and tons of money for most of their business career and just turned profitable maybe a couple years ago. But, you know, they're fighting for world domination against other competitors and scooping up market share. You know, Amazon as well, they historically lost money for most of their build out too, but they were building the infrastructure needed and, you know, doing stuff at a loss. But, you know, at the end, 20 years later, they're one of the most valuable companies in the world. Listen, I'm not doing any of that shit. So I'm always thinking through a profit first of how do you structure the business and build it out profitably. So I want to acquire customers profitably, or at least break even and have a lifetime value on those customers. So what was the question? The question.
Why do so many entrepreneurs confuse revenue with actual profit?
Yeah, because revenue is, you can generate revenue pretty easily. You could do $1 million in revenue, but if your costs are $950,000, it's like you did a whole ton of work for 50 grand.
If someone is new to business, what's the difference in that they should know about the difference between revenue and profit?
Exactly what I just said, really. Like, if you're not thinking through profits first and, wanting to actually make money, do business things and generate money that you can actually keep and reinvest, you're going to be working really, really hard for not a lot of take home, because you still need to make the profit on it, right? You need to make the profits, and you just continuously reinvest until you reach a certain point. That's my hard line.
Moving on. What's the difference between scaling and what's the most common mistake people make when they do try to scale?
Scaling is a difficult thing because you build up, you reach a point, and then you need to do certain actions to kind of get to this next point, and then do certain actions to get to this next point, which at the core of it is building systems and processes to kind of make the business run more autonomous. You want to have systems in place where you as the business owner isn't doing like every single piece, every single touch point of every single dollar that gets generated of that. So you want to have systems in place that alleviate a lot of that. And then as well, you want to hire great people to kind of do those tasks that are involved. And more importantly, you want to hire people that are better at doing those tasks than you are, right? You kind of get it built out, proof of concept, you get to the point, you know what the workflow of it is. You want to build systems to make that workflow easier. And then you want to have people to kind of accelerate that channel of whatever that may be. Because the single individual, the business owner, you only have so much time, energy, and capacity during a day. So you could get stuck just doing tasks that you need to build systems or hire people for.
How do you know if you're scaling too early or too late?
Again, also a tough thing to do because, well, let's say, okay, too early, I'm building systems and hiring people, but nothing is coming down the pipeline, right? So it's like you have all the systems in place, but you guys are all just sitting around the office and waiting for customers to come in. That's too early. But too late is you're overwhelmed with the amount of inputs that are coming into the business, and then things are falling apart as well too. So it's always a tough gauge of when do you kind of put those in place, because it's a tough timing thing as well. But I think simply put, those would be the core two.
What's the difference between working hard and working smart when growing a business?
Oh my goodness. Where'd these questions come from? They feel difficult today. There's always work to be done, right? Like no matter what it is that you're doing. But if you're not doing work or activities within the business to kind of move it forward or jump step to kind of get to that next level of it, again, you're just going back to, you've just created yourself a job and you're just going to be spinning your wheels doing that day-to-day stuff, and you will burn out so quickly because there's no momentum building with that. When there's no growth happening and when there's no growth happening and you're just kind of spinning your wheels doing the day-to-day over and over again, you are initially going to burn out because you're doing that and you're dealing with all the headaches that happen when building a business too. All the things that come up that you couldn't see coming and all that. So on top of the day-to-day operation stuff, you're putting out fires. That's going to lead to you being burnt out or not having energy towards putting the business, and then ultimately not liking what you are doing.
How How do certain systems help remove the bottlenecks and then speed up the growth of the business?
Yeah, you want systems in place to kind of automate processes, right? Like if me as the business owner, let's use the Big Ball, for example. It's a physical product business, and I'll just focus on just the online sales of it too, okay? So there's some key aspects of how this happens. One, we need to drive people to the website, okay? So we need to create ads and build ads too. So you need to film the content, you need to edit the ads, you need to create it, you need to write the copy, you need to launch in the ads manager, you need to set up the campaigns, you need to run those, you need to test them and do all that, okay? So you're doing all those things. Then people are coming to the website. They go in, they look around, they make an order. Order comes in, then you got to take that, you got to print a shipping label, right? You got to enter the address, print a shipping label, take that, you got to go, you got to pick up the ball, you got to pack it in the box, you got to put it in a box, you got to put the shipping label on it, you got to take that, you got to drive to the post office, drop off at the post office, then you got to come home, you got to get the tracking number, you got to email it to the customer and say your thing is on its way. Then they receive the package. Then you want to email them and say, "Hey, how did you like the product? Can you give us a review?" Every single touch point there, a system and process can be put in place where you're not having to do all those pieces. You shouldn't be doing all those pieces because you're not going to be able to fuel growth because you're spending all your time doing those things. On the content side of it, so are we hiring people to create content and create ads? Hopefully they're way better than I am at creating the ads. Are we hiring or working with someone to be in the ads manager that can optimize the campaigns and look for a proper return on investment on that ad spend? Are we dealing with someone on the website side to work on conversion rate optimization? So if we send 1,000 people there, 30 people don't buy something, 50 people buy something, doing that too. Are we working with maybe a partner for warehousing where the orders go to them? They have a fully automated system where they just print out a shipping label. It already has the address and stuff like that. They pick, pack, and ship it, do that. And then the Canada Post or FedEx or UPS comes to that warehouse and picks it up. And then there's an automatic email that gets sent out 14 days later that says, "Hey, did you enjoy your Big Ball?" Right? Like, so those two scenarios, it's like me as the individual business owner, it's like I'm doing all those pieces of it. Or we set up these things in place to kind of automate and build systems to do that and take me out of it. And then I can focus on like, okay, how do we get more traffic to the website? What other products do our customers want? What other sales channels should we focus on? Is there distributors in the UK or in Australia that we should be working with? How are we going to tackle the 10,000 golf courses in the US?
So with all that being said, the revenue versus profit growth mistake 1, scaling the wrong things and not building systems. What's an example of a business that looked successful from the outside, but was struggling with all these concepts behind the scenes?
Yeah, like I don't want to like call out specific ones of that, but you see this with a ton of like e-commerce stores and stuff like that, where they can show like, oh, we're doing $200,000 in revenue a month, but on the back end, they're actually spending $201,000 on Facebook ads. That's not good because that's just ad costs and revenue. You're already split up there. That's not cost of goods. That's not cost to deliver product. That's not any staffing in that too. And there's a lot of those that exist out there. I don't think we should be naming.
No, I get it.
But you know who you are.
And what's the first step someone should take if they feel stuck in their business?
Yeah, I would be like, give yourself a week, right? And really document what it is that you're doing and how you're spending your time, on the business stuff. Like, what are the tasks that you are doing in the business? And it's almost like getting a time audit of yourself, right? Because I think you can kind of get caught up and you almost get in a rhythm or a cadence of, running the business stuff, and you're almost not even aware of the things that you are doing and the things that are just sucking time out of the day and sucking energy out of your day too. So I would say take a day, take a week, and kind of let's just start recording down what are the things that you're doing, what are the day-to-day operation things that you're doing too. And then let's kind of have a look at what are the things that you enjoy doing, but what are also the things that are moving the needle. All right, like what are the things that are actually having impact on the business? And then where can you build systems or hire someone to fill in the gaps of this so everything's operating too? So I think in short, it would be like do an audit, just get some awareness of how you're spending your time in the business, figure out what you enjoy doing and what's moving the needle, and then automate, build systems, and hire people where you need them.
If you could give your past self one piece of advice about business growth, what would it be?
Build systems quicker, for sure, because everything I'm saying is through experience of me doing so many pieces of the business, and for too long as well too, where we could grow a lot quicker if had this mindset earlier. But that's through experience. That's really the only way you actually learn. So I would just say kind of build systems and processes or systems and automations as fast as possible. And as well, don't be afraid to hire people, right? Like you want to hire people, you want to give them incentives, you want them to be a part of the journey. You're much more effective as a team rather than a solopreneur. And, always have a profit first mindset. I honestly, like at the beginning of my business career, it's like, I didn't know what I was doing. So I was like, okay, revenue was going up. I'm like, that's amazing, right? Like I'm that person that's like, we did $680,000 in revenue, right? It's like, but if you were to look at the P&L of like what actually happened down, it's a different story. So then I've had to kind of shape this mindset, this framework of how do I want to build businesses, which is profit first. So I build products and services, thinking through profit, price them that way, cost of delivery, all those things. And then now it's like, okay, you got revenue, you got profit. And then as well, I'm the business owner, you get income from that too. And that's also another thing that you need to decide. It's like, okay, you have these profits in the business now, but do you pull those profits out and put them in your pocket, or are you putting them back in the business to reinvest and grow it bigger? Which the dollars are better spent in the business than they are, in my pocket.
Well, Miles, that's all the questions I have for you today. Any closing thoughts before we let our viewers leave for this episode?
The tools are out there to build systems and processes. The tools are there. And hiring great talent is out there too. It's never been better to do that. Build small teams, build profitable businesses, and have fun doing it.
Are you feeling stuck in your business? Please drop a comment. We'd love to hear your biggest challenge and how you're tackling it.